All right, welcome everyone. For the next few minutes, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to push pause on all the policy debates, the top-down theories, and instead we're going to listen. We're going to hear directly from the people who are right at the center of all this, your students. This is a real, unfiltered look at how they are actually using AI to learn, and it's all in their own words.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into what students are really doing with these tools. Then we'll look at how AI is becoming this new kind of study buddy. After that, we'll tackle the tricky ethical gray areas they're figuring out on their own, and we'll wrap up with a message directly from them to you.
So let's just start with the biggest question on everyone's mind. I want you to forget what you think they're doing, or maybe what you're afraid they're doing. What is really happening when they sit down with their homework and open up an AI?
Look, the big fear, the one that keeps us all up at night, is mindless cheating, right? That they're just copying and pasting their way to an A. But the reality we heard from these students is so much more nuanced, and frankly, it's a lot more impressive. They see AI as a genuinely powerful tool for learning.
What's pretty amazing here is just how fast this has happened and how open they are about it. When these students were asked point blank, "Are you using AI?" the answer wasn't some guilty mumble. It was a confident yes. This isn't some dirty little secret. For them, it's just a tool, a normal part of their academic life.
And they're using it in some really smart ways. I mean, it's not about getting the AI to write the whole essay for them. It's about finding primary sources for a history assignment. It's about personalizing their math help by saying, "Hey, explain this to me like I'm in year 5. They're using it to make flashcards, to dig into complex topics, even to get a little creative kickstart with writing prompts.
And that really brings us to our next point, this idea of AI as a brand new kind of study partner. We're seeing students create these really clever, repeatable systems. They're not just using AI, they're deploying it strategically to get better.
Now, this quote right here, this is a total game changer. Just listen to the thinking behind this. A student has already written her draft. She's done the hard work. And now she turns to the AI, not to do the work, but to help her make it better. She's asking, how can I level this up?
And here's the actual process she laid out. She writes her draft, then she feeds her writing and the official marking rubric into the AI. She's basically using the AI as a practice marker, asking for specific feedback. Then she takes that feedback, she edits, she refines, and she repeats the whole cycle. I mean, this is active, driven, goal-oriented learning.
And it's not just for essays. Take math, for example. Here's a student who knows her weakness is those tricky, unfamiliar problems you see on exams. So instead of shying away from them, she uses AI to face them head-on.
So she built her own little system. She gives the AI all the topics they've covered that term and asks it to generate a custom practice test filled with those tough questions. She does the test, then she feeds her answers back into the AI to get it marked, and this is the crucial part, to get a step-by-step breakdown of exactly where she went wrong. This is incredibly self-directed stuff.
But, students aren't just thinking about how to get better grades. And this brings us to our third topic, how they are trying to navigate all the ethical gray areas of these new tools, a lot of the time without any real guidance from their schools.
When they were asked, "So what is cheating to you?" their definition was just so simple and so insightful. It wasn't about using a particular tool. For them, you cross the line at the point where you just don't think it all by yourself. It's about giving up on critical thought, not about whether you used a calculator, a search engine, or an AI.
And it goes way beyond just cheating. They're bringing up their own ethical questions. They're worried about becoming too reliant on it, asking themselves, will I still be able to think on my own? They're talking about data privacy, deepfakes, even the environmental cost of AI. These are not naive users. They're thinking critically about the technology they're adopting.
They're also spotting a new kind of digital divide. One student told a story about having to teach her friend from a different school how to do something as basic as attach a document to an AI prompt. And this just throws a spotlight on this growing equity gap. AI literacy is creating a whole new level of advantage and disadvantage between schools.
So, what about the detection software? Let me just throw a number at you. 96%. That's the AI similarity score one student got on an assignment that she had typed entirely by herself.
So, why 96%? Well, it turns out the entire class had been given the exact same scaffolding template by the school. The teacher, of course, knew this and explained it. It's a perfect real-world example of how unreliable these detectors can be and why the human teacher, with their context, their knowledge, their judgment, is more essential than ever.
Okay, so that brings us to our final section. This is a direct message from your students. If they were standing up here right now, what is it they'd want you, their principals, to know?
This is their core message, and it's just so pragmatic. They know AI isn't going anywhere. It's woven into the fabric of their world. So their argument is just simple common sense. Since we're going to use it anyway, wouldn't it be better to teach us how to use it right instead of just banning it and having us use it wrong?
And here it is, their direct call to action for you. They see this is the future, and they believe that teachers need to be trained and equipped to guide them. This isn't them pointing fingers. It's a request for partnership. It's a call for professional development.
And they absolutely still see the value of school. For them, school's future-proof role is to teach the stuff AI can't do, like real communication and social skills, to guide them on when it's appropriate to use AI and how to use it well. And, critically, to give them the foundational knowledge that makes an AI useful in the first place. You can't ask an AI a good question if you don't know anything to begin with.
So what about the final boss? The traditional, high-stakes exam room where there's no AI in sight? They're not worried. They are keenly, fundamentally aware that, as one student put it so perfectly, AI can't put the knowledge into your brain. They see AI as the training ground, the tool to help them practice and understand, so that when they walk into that exam, the knowledge is already theirs.
So we'll end on this thought. Your students aren't waiting for an invitation to the future. They're already there. They're living in it, they're learning in it, they're building it. The real question this leaves us with is a simple one. Are your classrooms ready to join them?